Hello, friend. Welcome back to my channel. I want you to listen closely. What I'm about to say may challenge what you believe about struggle, failure, and your own mindset. There are two kinds of people in this world: those who move through life tired, defeated, and constantly surviving, and those who stand firm in adversity, who rise when others fall, who keep moving when others quit. The difference between them: it's not intelligence, it's not luck, it's not education, it's something far more powerful. It's what I call a positive mental attitude. And let's be clear, this isn't about thinking happy thoughts. It's not about forcing a smile when everything inside you hurts. It's not shallow optimism. A true positive mental attitude is deeper, it's spiritual. It's the ability to face the fog of difficulty and still move forward with faith, focus, and purpose. It is the antidote to failure and the foundation of all enduring success. I've spent over 25 years studying the most powerful minds of our time: Carnegie, Ford, Edison, Rockefeller. These men didn't succeed because life was easy. They succeeded because they developed a mindset that couldn't be broken. They didn't fear failure. They learned from it. They didn't retreat in the face of setbacks. They adapted. They didn't fold under pressure. They grew stronger. And so can you. But first, ask yourself, what's influencing your mind right now? Is it fear, doubt, resentment? Or is it purpose, faith, and determination? Because your mind is never neutral. If you don't lead it, the world will. If you don't master it, something else will. That's a truth I had to face for myself, and it changed everything. You see, your mental attitude is the one thing over which you have full and absolute control. No one can take that from you. And that truth, it will either free you or confront every excuse you've ever made. Because what you believe, you become. What you dwell on, you live. What you speak, you reinforce. You might say, I've tried staying positive, but life keeps knocking me down. Then I'll ask, what is your purpose? Because no one can develop a powerful mind without a purpose that's so clear, so meaningful, that even failure fears it. Show me a person without purpose, and I'll show you someone drifting. And those who drift are always vulnerable, easily discouraged, easily controlled. But show me someone with vision, someone who wakes up with clarity and moves with intention, and I'll show you someone the world cannot break. 1. Decide clearly what you want. 2. Believe without hesitation that it's possible. 3. Align your daily actions with that belief. No waiting, no excuses, no outsourcing your responsibility to motivation or chance. Let's be honest. The world doesn't owe you encouragement. Life won't always pause to accommodate your struggles, but it will reward you for clarity backed by faith and persistence fueled by purpose. When a person decides they will no longer surrender to negativity when they take ownership of their mind, something powerful happens. Doors begin to open. People begin to appear. Opportunities align. Strength rises from places they didn't know existed. And failure begins to retreat. But here's something most overlook. Negative thoughts aren't just visitors. They are invaders. And if you entertain them, they'll take over. They'll drain your energy. They'll blur your vision. They'll sabotage the very thing you were put here to do. So protect your mind. Strengthen your spirit. Decide what matters, and build your life around it. That's where the transformation begins. Start with this: housekeeping. Not in your home, but in your mind. Take inventory of what you think. Monitor your inner dialogue. And the moment you catch your thoughts drifting toward fear, doubt, worry, or resentment, stop it. Interrupt it like you would a thief at your door. Replace it with gratitude, with truth, with a calm, commanding voice inside you that says, I was not born to be broken. I was not created to be weak. I am made of the same essence that shapes mountains, forms galaxies, and breathes through the lungs of champions. Now let me address one of the greatest lies people tell themselves. I'm just not a positive person. That's not truth. That's conditioning. You weren't born positive or negative. You were shaped by environment, by experience, by repetition. But none of that is permanent unless you allow it to be. What's been learned can be unlearned. What's been programmed can be rewritten. The key is simple: repetition. You become what you consistently do. You believe what you repeatedly say. And your attitude reflects the dominant thoughts you feed your mind over time. So if you want to build an unbreakable mindset, start here. Control your input. Feed your mind daily with strength, courage, and truth. Speak words of power even when you feel weak. Read and listen to greatness until it begins to burn inside you. There is no shortcut. There's no secret hack. But there is a path. And it begins with one simple decision. Your attitude belongs to you, not to your critics, not to your circumstances, not even to your past. Yours and yours alone. And that, right there, is the beginning of power. If you're serious about developing a positive mental attitude, then you must understand the principle of autosuggestion. What is it? It's the process by which your subconscious mind becomes the soil for whatever you plant, good or bad. Thoughts repeated become beliefs. Beliefs shape behavior, and behavior creates reality. Whatever you consistently say to yourself, whether truth or lie, your mind absorbs, accepts, and begins to act upon. Success always begins with a conversation. Not with the world, but with yourself. Your inner dialogue is either building your future or quietly dismantling it. The person who wakes each day and declares, "I will win, I will persist, I will not be denied," begins to shape reality through the force of faith in motion. But the one who says, "Nothing ever works for me, I'm tired, I can't do this," has already lost before they've taken a single step. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But belief is not a one-time decision. It must be forged daily, reinforced deliberately, conditioned like a muscle. So here's a simple practice. Take 5 minutes each morning and speak life into your mission. Not softly, not passively, but with clarity, with energy, with fire. Say, "I am powerful beyond measure. My purpose burns stronger than my fear. I attract exactly what I need because I expect nothing less." You may not feel it right away. That's normal. The subconscious does not respond to fleeting feelings. It responds to repetition, anchored with emotion. So say it again, and again, and again, until the voice of victory inside you becomes louder than the voice of doubt. Now let's go deeper. An unbreakable attitude doesn't just come from what you say. It comes from how you live. Self-discipline. You cannot master your emotions if you don't first master your habits. You cannot hold a positive vibration if you're still bound by destructive rituals. Discipline is the bridge between intention and reality. Without it, good intentions remain dreams, and destiny remains delayed. The great men I studied, Carnegie, Hill, Edison, Schwab, did not rise on talent alone. They rose because they governed themselves. They understood this timeless truth. A man who cannot control his thinking, his time, or his appetites is a slave in a world built for kings. So ask yourself, what are you tolerating that weakens your spirit? What distractions are you allowing that slow your progress? What comforts have you clung to that quietly rob you of your future? Understand this. An unbreakable mindset is not built in comfort. It is forged in discipline, under pressure, in private, in the choices no one sees. It's built in moments like these. I will read instead of scroll. I will rise instead of sleep. I will speak power instead of complaint. Every time you choose discipline over impulse, your inner strength expands. Every time you surrender to ease, your potential shrinks. Now, let me share one of the most vital truths I've discovered in decades of studying success and failure. Every adversity carries within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. If you truly believe that, deeply, consistently, you become untouchable. Yes, you will bleed, you will stumble, you will suffer, but you will never be broken, because you'll know this isn't the end. This is the test before the elevation. Look back on your own life. The greatest clarity didn't come in comfort. It came in collapse. The most powerful growth didn't happen when everything was easy. It happened when the storm hit, and you had to decide, will I drown or will I rise? So train your mind. Learn to expect both the good and the difficult. Practice saying, this pain is preparing me. This failure is redirecting me. This delay is protecting me. And when that becomes your default response, something incredible happens. You become unshakable. You become dangerous to defeat. Because life cannot hurt a man who grows stronger every time he's hit. Here's another cornerstone of my life's work. You are never a victim of your circumstances. You are only ever a product of your response. Two people can face the same setback. One grows bitter, the other grows better. The difference? Mental attitude. When life strikes, you decide, will I curse it, or will I bless it as the teacher it is? When betrayal comes, and it will, you choose. Will I let it harden me into resentment, or refine me into wisdom, strength, and better boundaries? You may not control what happens, but you always control what it becomes. That is the real power of a positive mental attitude. It doesn't pretend hardship isn't real. It redefines it. It doesn't stop the storm. It teaches you how to walk through it on purpose, with purpose. But be warned, not everyone will understand this mindset. Some will mock your optimism, call you unrealistic, delusional, naive. Ignore them. Most people have become addicted to mediocrity. They've made a lifestyle out of hopelessness, and they feel threatened by anyone who dares to rise while they've settled into crawling. So protect your mind. Cut off mental infection at the source. You cannot build a strong future with the voices of weakness echoing in your head. This journey demands strength, and that strength begins, always, with discipline. Surround yourself only with those who speak life. Avoid anyone who feeds your fear, who sows seeds of doubt in your soil of vision. Tell me who your enemies are, and I'll tell you what challenges you're becoming strong enough to overcome. But tell me who your friends are, and I will show you the ceiling of your future. Environment is stronger than will. If you dwell in darkness, don't expect your mind to shine. Choose, carefully and ruthlessly, what you allow to influence your spirit. Because what enters your ears eventually enters your life. Now let me leave you with this. You do not need permission to develop this power. You don't need a degree, a title, or applause. You need only one thing, a decision. A decision to own your thoughts, to lead your mind instead of being led, to become the kind of person that nothing can break, because your attitude refuses to surrender. If you make that decision right now, if you say, from this moment on, I no longer rent my attitude to circumstances. I own it, I lead it, I protect it. Then you are already halfway to greatness. Because the world bends for those who stand tall in spirit, even when their body is tired, even when life is heavy. Stand tall. You've made it this far, and that tells me something about you. It tells me you're not here to merely survive. You're here to master life, and mastery begins in the mind. The final layer of an unbreakable mental attitude is this. You must have a definite chief aim. Without purpose, the mind drifts. Without a burning reason, the mind wanders, pushed by fear, pulled by distraction. You must anchor your mind to something greater than comfort. Wake up every day with a reason so powerful, so personal, that nothing can shake it from your soul. Not fear, not failure, not fatigue. Your purpose is not just a goal. It is your identity in action. It is who you are becoming, sustained by clarity, strengthened by obsession. Every great man I've studied had this. They didn't kind of want it. They didn't hope for it. They lived it. Their purpose wasn't something they did. It was something they became. Ask yourself, what do I want so deeply that I'm willing to suffer for it? What vision am I willing to be misunderstood for, doubted for, even walk alone for? What kind of life would make every breath worth the pain it took to earn it? Once you know, burn it into your subconscious. Repeat it morning and night. Speak it with emotion. Visualize it vividly. Because vague desires produce vague results. But clarity? Clarity commands the universe. And once that purpose is fixed in your mind, like the North Star, your attitude becomes not just your shield, it becomes your sword. The man who has purpose and protects his mental attitude becomes unstoppable. He may be delayed, but never denied. He may fall, but always rises. He may struggle, but never retreats. Why? Because he understands. Attitude is the hinge upon which the doors of destiny swing. It determines whether failure becomes fuel or a finish line, whether pain becomes power or a permanent excuse, whether hardship becomes your downfall or your rise. But you must guard this attitude like a warrior guards his soul. Protect it from toxic people, poisonous media, your own inner critic, reject, gossip, self-pity, victim thinking, any thought that lowers your energy. You may not control what life throws at you, but you always control what it becomes. That power is yours, and yours alone. So let me speak to your heart, not as a speaker, but as a guide, a man who has studied the greats and stood with the forgotten. You are not here by accident. You were born with purpose. You have something the world needs. Your very breath is proof that your destiny is real. But that destiny cannot rise in a mind filled with fear, doubt, or excuses. Your job is to cleanse your inner world. Feed your mind the words of greatness. Read biographies of giants. Speak affirmations. Take bold action. And above all, think thoughts that lift, expand, and empower you. Every time you do, you grow. Every time you bow to fear, you shrink. That is the daily battle. That is the real work. Let me leave you with a rule that has never failed me. Act as if it were impossible to fail. Fear has stolen more dreams than failure ever has. It is not failure that keeps most men small. It's the fear of failure. The anticipation of defeat is often worse than defeat itself. But what if you removed the possibility of failure altogether? What if you said, I cannot fail. I can only learn. I cannot lose. I can only adjust. I cannot break. I can only bend and come back stronger. That, my friend, is power. That is the beginning of an unbreakable mind. Because now you no longer hesitate. You move. You speak. You create. You command. And in that commanding, fear flees, doubt dies, and the world responds. Now listen well. No man ever succeeded alone, but no man ever succeeded waiting for others to believe in him. You must believe first. When others laugh, stand. When others doubt, build. When others mock, lead. Even if you're still becoming what you speak, speak it anyway. Because the world follows those who dare to become mentally invincible. So let me summarize what you now possess, if you dare to live it. A mind that sees opportunity in every obstacle. A voice that speaks power into the soul daily. A purpose so clear, so consuming, that fear has no room to breathe. A discipline so consistent that weakness becomes irrelevant. A mindset so positive, so unshakable, that even hell itself cannot halt your progress. This is not fiction. This is law. These principles worked for Carnegie. They worked for Edison. They worked for Ford. And they will work for you if you work them. So the real question is not, will they work? The real question is, will you?